Hey everybody, Eric here, and this is Meanwhile in Athens, a podcast where we will be talking to people living in Athens who are doing a variety of interesting, creative, or beneficial things for the community and for the planet at large. So I hope that you will stay tuned and listen to these shows. I really very much do appreciate it. Today's show, we will be speaking with Apollo. He is a filmmaker originally from Greece, but has also spent many years living in the US. We'll be talking to him a little bit about his latest project and some of the differences between filmmaking and photography. We'll talk a little bit about dance. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. And thanks for listening, and please enjoy. Okay, everybody, welcome back to Meanwhile in Athens. I've got a very special guest today, my first guest on the podcast, actually, and it's a good friend of mine, Apollo. Apollo and I met a few years back at a very lovely restaurant called the Plant Kingdom here in Athens, and he has just recently arrived back to Athens after some time in the US. He is a filmmaker, a director, an editor, a big fan of dance, and just a great guy overall. So, welcome, Apollo, to the podcast.
Hey Eric, hey my brother, how are you?
I'm doing very good, man. How about you? How are you
I'm
today?
doing awesome. I'm doing great. I'm
Good,
enjoying.
good.
Yeah, I'm having a Greek coffee and enjoying the view of beautiful Athens from my balcony. So I'm so grateful right now to be here.
Nice, nice. It must be quite
Yeah.
the transition after being in, you were in New York most recently, right?
Yeah, I was in New York this summer most of the time, but I did some travel towards for a month between around the end of June for the whole July. I was out of New York and then I came back and now I'm here. I'm in Athens.
Okay, great.
Back to the roots.
Well, welcome back.
Thank
Um, what sort of sparked your connection with the U.S. and why is that a place that you regularly go and frequent?
Yeah, basically, well, the US was a calling since I was a child. I don't really remember that, but my mom used to say to me that when I was like 5 years old and we were watching movies like these US blockbuster movies back of the 90s, 80s, like, those epic films, and New York was in the picture, I would like pull her skirt and be like, "Hey, mom, I'm gonna go there one day." And that yeah, so that's what she told me later when I actually moved in New York. So other than that, I had no idea that I'm gonna
That's
end up
funny.
there. Yeah, I had a dream like everyone else. I wanted
Yeah,
to for the city, for like go there, do something big. The possibility living in that city that I've watched on the movies. It was kind of like okay, my childhood dream, I would say that I wanted
sure.
to. Yeah.
That's great. And do you feel it's kind of lived up to your expectations?
Oh yeah, basically yeah, way much more because I didn't really had expectations. So just at some point, I just started following my passion, which is photography and filmmaking, and
Right.
that became more clear. I mean, like I grew up in Greece. I had um, I had my camera, my still, back then we still have still photography. So it was the first time that I started exploring film and taking pictures and making compositions and all that. And, for me, it was just like a way to be in the present moment. I have no idea that that's what I'm going to be doing as I grew up. It was an escape for me as a child. It was something fun. So
Mm-hmm.
I just started following that and doing more of that. And then, like the video camera came in the picture. And then I started making my first videos in the house and doing those, like documenting things in the house. And then
Right.
I would edit them and, call friends and family and watch them, and we're all laughing out, like it was the stuff that, we were like seeing ourselves doing. And then it just and then just became a next thing at a time. And in 2004 I was just about when I finished my army responsibility, because in Greece you have to go to the army, it's
Right.
mandatory. So
Right.
it's just about that I finished high school, and I've done that as the next right thing. And when I was completed with that, I was just like at a place that I was trying to think about what is it that I'm going to be studying. And it was photography back then. I was still passionate with photography, and I thought that,
Okay.
okay, that's what I'm going to do. And a friend of mine who works in production, a producer, she works in commercial production in Greece, in Athens. She had a
Right.
conversation with me, and she her suggestion was that I should go to film school, because like it would be photography plus she sees something about me that she thinks that I should really like consider it. So
Okay.
so that's how it started. And I was a little resistant in the beginning, because I was a little narrow-minded. I thought like, oh, it
Right.
has to
Well,
be
it's
photography.
it's a very big jump to go from photography to filmmaking, right? I mean, sure they're in the same general field, but it's a huge step up, and maybe you were comfortable with just the photography.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like photography is like, yeah. I mean, the principles are the same. The way you lead things and the films and all of
Mm-hmm.
that, and the tech. It just what it's changing is that your object is moving, right, in the
Right.
cinema. So
Right.
then you have to be, like lighting a space for everywhere your actor is moving to be like perfectly lit as a as a photography to look impeccable. So
Right.
so you double in basically what you do. You double, and then it's more complicated, of course. It's way more complicated, and it needs it's just takes more to do photography
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
for moving image. And it's just something you need to be really passionate about. But everything starts from that like picture, like the still photography. So all the principles are
Sure.
there. So even like the best cinematographers of the world, they started with a still camera, right? And when
Right. Right.
when you know how to lead an object, and you know the principles of the light and how you use the lights and what depth means in your lens, and what camera you're using, what film you're using, and what is doing what, so you can get the result you want. It's the same principles you apply for cinema then. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and that's how it started. And then I went to the film school, and I felt I fell in love basically.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's really great. And so
with this
maybe
whole thing.
talk a little bit about some of the projects that you've completed in the past. Have you like finished a film or done any short films?
Yeah, yeah. Long story short, that was just like the start of my journey.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I just like kept doing filmmaking in Europe. I was in Paris studying as a filmmaker in London. I did do projects there, short films, and
Sure.
everything related with cinema and filmmaking, and just like getting trained and getting more experience, etc. And then just like, okay, 10 years, no, 11, 12 years fast forward. I mean, where I am right now, it's just like, like 10 years ago, I moved in New York as a
Mm-hmm.
filmmaker that some experience, and I was already more clear that this is what I'm doing and pursuing. And then New York became more clear to me that, okay, that's my next thing, my next step. That's where I'm going, because I lived in London, I lived in Paris, so I tried like European
Right.
cities. I still have that call about New York. Just I was a little scared at some point, because I felt it was a
Sure.
little. too far. I wasn't really sure, but anyway, just like at some point I made the decision to go. That was 11 years ago, and since then I'm dedicated in filmmaking and writing
Yeah.
my own scripts and doing my own productions, basically building my own building a network of clients and people who I do
Mm-hmm.
work for. And basically what I've been focusing on is like sort of online projects like fashion, travel, hotel, documentaries, editing a lot of editing projects for other people, like for film
Right.
festivals, for shorts, for all of that stuff, and and working on my own projects as producer, director, and basically, you know, uh, either writing, doing the whole thing basically
Sure.
for
Sure.
whatever projects I've been inspired at
Involved
that
in.
particular time to work
Right.
on.
Right. And
So yeah,
is there a particular type of project or a type of film that is most
yeah.
appealing to you? Like what sort of styles really draw you in, or what sort of stories are you looking to tell in particular?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I do like documentaries a lot, and I do like indie films a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's more of my style. I like drama from real life. I like movies that they get intimate in a way that it hits home, and people can question themselves for deeper truth more than like the blockbuster and movies with extra special effects and things that are less.
Right.
So I like more real life things and
Sure.
things that happen in everyday life next door, in our house, in our house, in our relationships with people. So these are more like the indie style films.
Yep.
And yeah, so I just shoot my, like that's usually where I go and I watch, the things that I'm, the films that I'm inspired and the things that I like. I just shot my first feature film. So yeah, 10 years in New York, working on personal projects, so, smaller
Mm-hmm.
projects here and
Yep.
there to basically get to the point that I had this long-term vision. I wanted to shoot a movie, and
Mm-hmm.
so 10 years later in New York, I just finished my first feature film. Uh,
Nice. Congratulations.
thank you, thank you so
That's
much.
that's really amazing. Do you want to maybe talk a little bit about what this one is about?
Yeah, yeah. So basically, this is a 3-year project. It's a movie that I shot entirely in Greece and New York. It has Greek actors. It's a foreign film, mainly Greek, spoken movie.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely, at the parts of New York, there's also English. So it's a mix of English and American English.
Okay.
So it's a film. It's a film about following your heart and following your dreams and believing in yourself. It's very much about inspiring people be themselves and be who they are, and just
Right.
go for what go for their go for their dreams and the true
Sure.
purpose in
Sure.
life. And we see this story in two characters, two young guys that they meet in this dance school in Greece, one from New
Mm-hmm.
York and one from Greece, both Greeks. And they explore intimacy through dancing, and they develop a relationship that goes beyond the dance floor. And you see their journey and how they support each other to follow their hearts and their dreams, basically.
Right. Right.
So it's a very intimate, soft, journey that
Mm-hmm.
it's very much about connection and about real intimacy and how do we connect with each other beyond our sexuality or our gender identity or
Right.
background where we come
Right.
from. Yeah, it's more about connection, true authentic connection, and
Okay. Okay.
and vulnerability, and we see that
Mm-hmm.
through dancing. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. And
yeah.
was this idea of these characters and the dance school and everything, was this something that you had just purely come up with, or was this somewhat inspired on real life events?
Basically, because I did wrote the script and produced the movie, etc., but I did wrote the script. There is definitely a personal journey that I
Mm-hmm.
have so I can have that realization and that
Mhm.
experience and my own truth. So I got inspired from um, a deeper realization I had and truth that I saw and an experience I would say that I had in life that made me be inspired in such a way that
Right.
I'm going to write this thing and I'm going to share a message that I felt
Right.
that it's true for me, and then made it a fiction, of course,
Made a
but
fiction. Right.
but
Right.
the message is definitely it's coming from personal experience. Yeah,
Okay, that
yeah,
makes sense. And
yeah.
what is the next stage for the film, and when do you think people will be able to see it?
Yeah, so, as every movie has a journey, and I mean, this
Mhm.
was a 3-year project, and we're completing at this point with everything that has to do with post production and sound and music, and so the next step is the movie it will start its journey to festivals. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
there is a list of festivals that, excuse me, that we're going to be sending.
Mhm.
And see which ones are the right fit for us. So yeah, we're starting with a couple of festivals in the US,
Sure.
in the LGBT community because it's LGBT themed, but also
Mhm.
festivals in Copenhagen, Berlin, and
Mhm.
Toronto. So there is in Australia. So it will start
Right.
that for the next 6 months, and then after
Yeah.
that, definitely we're going to be having a screening. So I'm going to be in Greece, so there might be a possibility that I'm going to be organizing some kind of a like smaller, not like official, but smaller screening for
R-
press and friends and family, and you know
Right.
like that here in Athens,
That would
and
be great.
yeah. So I will definitely let you know, and then in
Okay.
York when I go back in December. That's gonna be another screening there, but not like official screening, more
Right.
like a screening for people that I'm gonna need to be
Yeah.
sharing it with. Yeah, for this.
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, in some ways, I think it makes sense to wait a little while, especially with the current, COVID situation. You want to wait till festivals are fully open and letting the proper capacity in there to see it, so that when you
exactly.
release it, it will be successful. So in a way it's good that you didn't try to release it last year,
Mm,
let's say.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Could have been very problematic. Okay, so and did you want to maybe give the name of the film too, just so people have something to look for?
Yeah. Even though it's not out there yet, I mean, there might be. Yeah, it's the name of the movie. It's called Aligned. Aligned.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and it talks a lot about like alignments that happen when people
Sure.
operate from that place of
So when they're like aligned with their heart, or aligned with,
right.
their dreams or something like this.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
very nice. Okay, and you mentioned briefly that there was some connection to a dance school and dance. Maybe talk a little bit about your experience with dance. And I know we've talked before the podcast a little bit about ecstatic dance and this sort of thing. Maybe you could touch on that a bit and tell us what your experiences have been in that world.
In dancing, yeah, dancing has been a practice for me. It has been a tool to just navigate through life. Like meditation and breathing and all these kind of things that people do to just like be present, be in the moment, and
Mm-hmm.
like the gym and things like that. So yeah, I've been practicing dancing in New York for the last, I would say, 8 9 years since I discovered. Like I got. I mean, I've been dancing way before that, but it's just in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I got in more consciously, like knowing that okay, I'm doing this right now because it's gonna have an effect to me, like at the
Right.
yeah. So I like the effect produced by dancing. So I'm not a professional dancer or something like that, but I do
Sure.
groups and places I go where people just like to be in the space and just like have that 2 hours of moving the body and releasing emotions or feeling emotions and like sweating out the week. So
Right.
get back to a place. I feel like that, I've hit a reset button and I'm ready to just like move on to, the next thing, So it's kind of like a way to release and reset and like keep me mentally, spiritually, and physically healthy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That all sound like very good goals.
Mhm.
Because part of this podcast is really for me to like help inspire people living in Athens and to find out what sorts of things that they can do that are positive for the community or to help them grow and heal. Is there anything here in Athens that, in the dance world that you know of that people could, maybe check into or connect with if they wanted to explore that side of their personality or use it for healing or therapeutic reasons?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there is a lot of different kind of dances that, excuse me, are you there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had an info because I'm talking from my iPhone. So yeah, there is a lot of different type of dances and communities, and that they use principles and they use dance as as a practice, or like Zumba, salsa, all of that. So in Athens, there's a
Right.
lot. The one I like and the one I go in New York and the one I keep like practicing, it's called Five Rhythms.
Okay.
Yeah, and five rhythms. It started in New York back in the 70s from Gabrielle Roth, and she created those maps and principles and ways of being and moving the body that feels authentic to us. So there is not like certain specific movement, but there are five different rhythms that she takes you through, and yeah, through those rhythms you explore yourself. Differently, basically. So and it's about being expressive, authentic, finding your own way of connecting with your body, yourself, your emotions, your authenticity, all of that. So it's a space
Mm-hmm.
that people just like drop into themselves and they just be who they are, and embracing the movement and dancing, as a reflection of life. So five
Right.
rhythms, it started in New York, has become big.
And it's available also here in Athens,
It's
correct?
also available in Athens by a
Yes.
woman called Patti Petropoulou, and she's
Okay.
amazing. Her classes are just like she's doing really deep work. She has a very deep understanding and wisdom about, um, this this uh, the we you know the wisdom behind the,
Mm-hmm.
the five rhythms. And
Right.
so
Right.
it's just a great, yeah, and and usually the spaces that she's choosing to bring people into dance, it's just like spaces with beautiful energy and beautiful views of the Parthenon and the city, so you feel inspired
So
dancing.
lovely. So
Yeah,
great.
in Athens, it's just amazing. Just like dancing and looking at the Parthenon, it's just like it's such a beautiful. It's like it's an experience that makes you feel goosebumps. It's
Right.
amazing.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that sounds really great. And then how does that compare then to the ecstatic dance? Because I know that you have also been involved in this group.
Ecstatic dance, yeah, ecstatic dance is like very similar with five rhythms, like as a way of freestyle expressing
Mm-hmm.
movement and
Okay.
all of that. Just it's not guided, so it's totally freestyle.
Okay. So you just do whatever you want wherever you're feeling your energy going, and
Yeah,
the five rhythms, she's like switching it up or giving you different ideas along the
yeah.
way.
Yeah, I mean the
Uh,
principles are the same. Like all of these type of dancings, they are barefoot. They're sober.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Alcohol is not allowed there, and
Right.
usually the
Right.
people that it attracts is people that they have some kind of spirituality and mindfulness, and like some, um, they have some experience in, like they have some practices. They have by, it's just like it's usually attracts crowd that they just like they're respectful about themselves in the space. So even though you're in
Right.
ecstatic dance, it's not guided, but the people who are a part of it and they're dancing, they practice mindfulness as they dance, and they bring in um, an aspect of spirituality which is always present there. You can tell that the people usually in ecstatic dance are like people who do yoga, meditation. They're in some kind of spiritual evolvement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Excellent. So there's lots of opportunities for it, especially after this very difficult time with the pandemic and everything too. I think people are going to really need this outlet to to kind of cut loose a little bit and move their body and reset our energies. I think it's very important.
Mhm.
Okay, so now you're just back to Athens. Now you're going to be here, I guess, a few months at least or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
What sort of plans do you have while you're here in Athens?
Basically, I'm just enjoying being here and enjoying time with my family because my
Mm-hmm.
family they're all here, and
Okay.
seeing friends, good friends of mine, uh, and also finishing up my movie.
Yeah.
'Cause I have people that I work from here, so we're wrapping up everything before I send to the festival from here, and also I'm gonna be working in another couple of projects that they're coming up soon. So I'm just gonna use this time in Greece to really focus on wrapping up the movie and making some connections with people that they're important to me, and
Mm-hmm.
at the same time also starting working on a new project that I'm going to be starting editing here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Hmm.
That sounds really good. And we originally met through a meetup group, so I just would maybe mention that as well too. We both met through the vegan meetup group, and I hope that you will take part in some of these upcoming vegan events as well too, because this is something that I've been arranging, and I think that you like to take part in as well. So we'll
Of
do
course.
we'll do those we'll do some more of those types of meetups, potlucks, picnics,
Yeah,
and maybe go to a restaurant or something like that.
absolutely.
And so it would be great to see you out at one of those. And yeah, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Welcome back to Athens, and I wish you continued success in all of your various projects.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you for the
Okay.
invitation, and thank you for
Okay.
this. Yeah, it's beautiful.
All
Enjoy
right.
your. Yeah, I'll see you soon.
See you soon. Bye
Bye.
bye.